This is your first ever 2021 and my first 2021 vehicle of the year, Kia Seltos. And there is a lot to unpack here as it's a first ever vehicle. So let's go Quirks, Perks, and Irks. There's a lot happening on the front end. Right off the bat, it is the middle of August, and I'm gonna say the 2021 Seltos wins the award for best turn signals. That is just absolutely big and bold and very, very elegant and upscale. Got the 4 bulbs, you got the 3 lines, they curve up, and it just looks really, really sharp. Got your 3 bulbs for your fog lights down below, LED, and you have your LED lights. Now what's cool is that little U-shaped is your day runner. And you have this really cool light bar that goes almost all the way across. So it stops here, then you have a bit of the metal here, and then it continues all along that side. So I'll back up and give you a look at it. You can see what's flashing in the camera because, well, that's what LED lights do. But it's a really cool lighting system. Not a big fan of the silver trim in between. It's got Kia's typical grille, but it's got some depth and dimensions to it. So you can see the little triangles minus the bugs kind of jump out. So you got straight bars and little cutout triangles. Very nice move. There's your part of your radar there. And you got the silver trim at the bottom. I'll give you another quick look at it. It's a little busy for me. I would probably get rid of the silver trim and make it black just in the middle by the grille there. But aside from that, it looks really, really nice. Nice flat line for your hood. So obviously this part does not move, but when you pop your hood, that line goes up and over. And you got some cool sculpture lines here. And it follows the U shape instead of just going straight down. And there's a good look at the angle. And it actually goes pretty high up as far as, you know, this isn't a performance vehicle. It's a very functional vehicle. But front end looks really, really sharp. Again, minus that, but the lights, 2020 best turn signals up front of the year. I'm calling it right now. Let's go around the side. So the wheels are a little busy, but it's, I'll give it a pass, a conditional pass on condition that they change them. Anyways, we'll get back to that later. So there's the shape of it. So it's between the Soul on the lower end and the Sportage on the higher end. So it kind of sits in between. And the beauty of this is it comes in optional all-wheel drive. So Kia definitely filling a hole in their market there. You know it's top trim because it's got the silver/chrome door handles. Everything else is body colored. And you have the nice little roof rack, and it just has that cool sporty touch to it where it just kind of angles off and there's no bottom to it. So I think that's a cool look for it. Here's an Irk. I don't like these silly red caps in the center of the wheels. All their top trim vehicles have them. I just think it looks really goofy and unnecessary. It really clashes with the yellow. Make them body colored or just make them regular colored. Like, it kind of looks like it stands out like a sore thumb. Anyway, there's your all-wheel drive badge. I am with the top trim SX. Turn signals, LEDs in the mirrors. Let's go around and take a look at the rear of the vehicle. There's a good rear quarter look just to have you take a quick look there. Oh, another little quirky thing. You see the silver trim just between the windows and the doors. Looks good in the door, looks good in the rear door, looks good when it's slanted up, but it kind of just falls off here and dies. I've always found that weird how manufacturers don't put them all the way across, and there's actually nothing here at all, which makes it a little more peculiar to look at as opposed to having some kind of trim all the way around. But what they decided to do was just put it halfway up, and I do kind of like the little contour here, but I would have liked it more if it was either all or none. So you got a pretty big spoiler, as you can see right there. You got your shark fin antenna. So here's the disappointment for me in the rear. 2 things. Those look like tailpipes, or at least housing for tailpipes, but they're not. They're just decorative. It gives it a cool look, but I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased. So there is a tailpipe on the passenger side. You can't really see it, but I'm happy they hit it. So it's completely non-visible, and maybe that's why they put those 2 little cutouts there. So my 2 cents on that. Disappointment around the rear. This rear turn signal is halogen when everything up front is LED. So I know, Kia, like, I get it, you're going for the value prop here, but I know that kind of just takes away from it. Nice silver bar all the way across here. Got your SX Turbo GDI badging there. These are your reverse lights. Give you a quick peek in the trunk. Interestingly, with the seats down, this has more cargo space than the Sportage, but the Sportage has more cargo space when the seats are up, and it's got way more than the Kia Soul. So anyways, it's a kind of a quirky thing there. You have your spare tire and a little bit of extra storage here for jumper cables or whatnot. Anyways, non-power trunk lid. Yeah, we'll call it that. Hatch, sorry, non-power hatch. Pull it down, no big deal. All right, that's kind of wrap up the outside, and I know it's a little over 5 minutes, and we usually do these in 2, but new vehicle, lots to go over. Starting with the rear seats in the first ever Seltos, I'm sitting all the way back, so there is a decent amount of leg space here. Your outboard passengers do get heated seats through 2 stages, and that's controlled right through there. I did put the passenger seat up all the way, so if you have somebody who doesn't care if they have no leg space up front, that's what you're going to get for leg space back here. So even still, get them to move up as much as they can, and you'll still get a fair amount of leg space if you're on that side of the car. Seats go down 60-40, there's a split there, and you got a couple of cup holders in that center armrest. If you want to look over my left shoulder, this is what you're going to see, and it's pretty much predictable Kia. It looks really sharp, very clean, and yet very modern. Taking a look at the front section, let's take a look inside the door panel here. Huge perk. It's such a simple thing here, having this chrome line, and it just goes in line with the door handle, or the door handle release. And I just think it looks like a really premium look. I don't care for this. It's piano black, and you can see it's catching fingerprints already. Another perk, this has the Bose premium audio system, so it does have these cool 3D speaker covers, and there's a really good look at it there, and it just looks really sharp, really attractive, really modern. This does have the mood lighting. We'll get into that later on in the review, but overall it's just a nice clean look, but it's the speaker covers that really make it for me, in addition to having that continuous bar of chrome. Just looks really sharp. Let's take a look at the seats. Not great for the thigh bolsters, but the side bolsters more than make up for it. You can get cloth or leather because this is the top trim. You get the leather, and you can see a bit of a honeycomb pattern in there. If I stand back a little bit, just do a little tilt. So I think it looks really nice, and nice same color stitching. So I like that. I don't always like off color stitching to accent the seats. All right, with that, let's take a quick seat, and I'm going to start the vehicle. Start stop button is nicely hidden right behind the wipers, and there's really not a reason you'd ever bump into them. Even if you're playing around with the direction of your air, you'll never hit it. You can't really see it all that well from here, so the camera's at eye level. So you can see a bit of the bottom of it, but for the most part, it's out of sight. So let's take a look at the graphic as to what shows up. Good old system check. So a couple of cool things here. I really like the semicircle gear indicator. So it looks really cool, and I will just go through the gears for you here. You got your reverse, and it lights up, neutral, and drive. And you play your drive modes, and see the smart, doesn't do much of anything, but you go to sport, and now things get really cool. So you have your gear indicator as a separate little nub there. Let's put it back into normal, and it just becomes what it was before. Huge perk for me, massive perk. In addition to having the analog speedometer, you've got a tiny little nub for the digital one. And the reason they do that is it doesn't need to be occupied by all this, because there's other information that comes out of here, but it's small enough yet easy enough to read that you're never guessing as to what it actually is or what it actually says. And if you don't want to read that, you just push this little button down here, and that's your heads-up display. Let's take a quick look. And up it comes. So I haven't used the heads-up display, just it's a little small for me, and besides, I have all the information that I need down here, and plus I've got my iPhone plugged in through Apple CarPlay, which is a standard feature along with Android Auto, so it doesn't really bother me that much. A quick look at the infotainment system. Very Kia, very easy to use, very cool. Here's something really awesome. It's the Sounds of Nature option, and you get 5 of them. You have Lively Forest, and Calm Sea Waves, and Rainy Day, Open Air Cafe, sorry, 6 of them, Warm Fireplace, and Snowy Village. Your sound mood lamp, same as the Kia Soul. Pick your options, pick how you want it, color or glow, and it reflects with the audio. So I think that's a cool thing there. Aside from that, everything is so easy to use, very easily laid out. And if you're looking at it from the driver's perspective, I just tilt my head to the right, and it's smartly laid out horizontally, so you're not doing the whole tablet thing, which to me is just plain ridiculous. Anyways, so that takes care of the infotainment system. CarPlay works very, very well with it. No complaints at all here. Nice balance of hard touch buttons and the dials. Again, more piano black. Oh, come on, Kia. Give me carbon fiber or something faux carbon fiber. Anyways, got your vents, got your four-way flashers, which are just, the button is massive. It's an Irk a little bit. I'm going to use the speed for the fan way more than I'm going to use the front and rear defrosters. So I wish these two were over here and these two were over there. Just, it's a matter of usefulness and functionality. So you just do your van speed. I love how Hyundai, Kia, Genesis have always made this so easy. No guessing, none of that stuff. And you have your Auto 1, Auto 2, Auto 3 for high, medium, and low. You can see it changing there. I'm just going to drop it down a little bit. Nicely laid out, zero complaints. This does have a little bit of storage here. All the Seltoses do. You have your two USBs, a 12-volt charger as well, and that tray is your wireless charging tray, and that little light shows up right there when it's in action. Moving down the console, here are your drive modes, which we went through briefly. We'll go through them later on, but it's not, let me get that in focus. Anyway, so it's not a round and round and round thing. Like, it stops in one certain spot and it doesn't continuously roll. So I like that it kind of gives you that that kind of hard stop. Piano black, minus 5 more points. You can see in all my gross fingerprints all around here. Here's something really quirky. There's a handlebar here and there's not one there. Yes, I know maybe the drive mode gets in the way of it, but I just think it looks really bizarre and strange. I don't know if you recall from my Sportage review last summer, they had the same thing as this, but they had it here and only on the passenger side. It was just such a weird anomaly, and I don't know why Kia put it only on that side. Like, it's not, I don't think it's holding up anything, but I guess that's why I don't design cars. Anyways, this has heated as well as your cooled seats. Again, top trim SX. You got a blank there, which kind of sucks, and you got a blank there, which kind of sucks. So, not the greatest. Anyway, there's your heated steering wheel button. Your 4x4 lock, heated seats again, and hill descent control. Going a little further down, there's your parking brake, which is nice and big. Usually it's a small, thin thing for a lot of other cars, so I'm happy Kia made it nice and big. An auto hold, which could be my new favorite thing over the past couple of years for modern vehicles. Bonus points for putting a little extra storage here. I think Kia could have probably done with a manual parking brake, but they opted to give you some storage. A couple of cup holders there. Another perk for me is the armrest moves, because Kia knows we're not all the same size. So thanks a ton for that, Kia. It is definitely appreciated. Let's take a look up. Another perk, you push this button and 3 lights come on. That one, and that one. And you put it off. But if you only want one light on, all you do, quick little touch and an LED light comes on. Sorry, it's a little bright. Let's knock that off, and same thing there. So really cool upscale move there. No panoramic sunroof. I'll show you why. Like, you can see right in the middle of your screen behind those lights how the roof goes starts to angle down, so that's why they couldn't put one in. And you know, it's heavy and whatever, but I like that they've given us a sunroof with the manual sunshade to close it. Let's do the drive in the 2021 Kia Seltos. So I have the top trim SX, and that gets you the turbo engine, and what that is a 1.6 turbo engine with 4 cylinders, giving you 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, all through a 7-speed transmission. The other 4 trims get a 2-liter engine, 4 cylinders, and those power figures are 146 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. The price difference as of the middle of August in 2020 between the EX Premium, which is the 4th, and this, which is the top, being the 5th, is $2,000. So if I were going to pick up a Seltos, I would get this one exactly as is, because $2,000 for the extra horsepower and a few other bells and whistles, to me, is completely worth it. And it's only $32,500. Let's jump into fuel economy. So it's a 50-liter gas tank, and both the top trim SX and the other 4 take regular gas. So pretty good with that, having a turbo engine running on regular gas. My fuel ratings are 9.4 in the city and 7.9 on the highway. And the other Seltoses, which are all-wheel drive, get 8.8 in the city and 7.6 on the highway. There is an entry-level one with front-wheel drive only, and those fuel figures are just a little better than the all-wheel drive ones. On the road, the Seltos performs very well. Cornering handling are done with relative ease. There's a lot of straight ahead power with the turbo engine, and it's a pretty comfortable ride. There's not really a lot of noise that bleeds in from the outside into the cabin. There's a little bit, this isn't a luxury vehicle with tons of sound dampening material, but for the class of vehicle it's in, it does fairly well. Now, if you do find the road noise to be a little much and you do opt to go for the top trim SX, just crank up that Bose audio system and all the outside noise will easily go away. Or throw on the sounds of nature. And I can tell you, I did my weekly drive up through Bell Fountain, turned off Sirius XM, and I just cycled through the different sounds of nature, and it was pretty relaxing. I gotta say, I don't live a very high stress life, but if you're stuck in traffic or whatever it is, the sounds of nature thing is a very nice touch. Now, it's not available on all trims. Just go with the SX. That's what I would do. Steering feel is pretty responsive. There's not a lot of oversteer, not a lot of understeer. And lately, Kia, Hyundai, Genesis have been on a roll with building really, really well-made vehicles. And I don't know what the future is going to be like, and I don't know what the residual is going to be like in 3, 4, 5 years after leases come up. But what I can tell you is, out of the box, the Seltos is a very well-built machine, and I think it's going to do very well. It's priced right, it's got the right ladder of trim options, it's affordable, it looks good. It looks good in yellow, and I've seen it in black, and it looks even better. So I think Kia's got another home run on their hands. Safety-wise, I'm happy with what Kia's done. I think they could have done a little better. So here's what you're getting for standard safety. You're getting the safe exit assist, you're getting the rear occupant alert, you're getting the blind spot collision warning, and you're getting rear cross traffic alert. And I don't want to say that's it, like it is it, but yes, it's a good amount of things, but the competitors are offering a lot more. Now here's what you get with the EX Premium and the SX, which is what this is. You get the blind spot collision alert, you get lane keep assist system, you get lane follow assist, which basically just kind of keeps you in your lane. Kia's just changing up their naming of things a little bit. You get the active frontal collision assistance system, which will give you warning chimes and as well do the automatic braking for you. You may know it better as the automatic emergency braking. You're getting the rear cross traffic alert avoidance assist, just an exclamation mark on the regular rear cross traffic alert. So I know that there has to be an incentive to get higher trims, but I wish that even the lane keep assist would have been included included as standard fare. The seats are really comfortable in the Seltos. I've done 520 kilometers and no driver fatigue, no backaches. It's power seats on the top trim, and you get the lumbar support, so it definitely helps make things a little more comfortable. Rear seats, not too bad. Again, consider the class of vehicle. This isn't a 7 Series. This isn't an S-Class. It's a compact car by a great manufacturer. Again, driving home the value and driving home the functionality with a little bit of flair to it. The irk that I have is with the auto start-stop system because it is just too sensitive. I'd have my foot down on the brake pedal and I would roll my foot a little bit, but still pushing down all the way, and the engine would come back to life. And I noticed it for the first couple of days, and no matter how hard I pushed down and how much pressure apparently I thought I was putting down that was consistent pressure, the engine would always come back. So even though I like keeping it on because, I don't mind saving a couple of bucks here and there, I just use the hard touch button to knock it off every time I drove the car for most of my week. Kia's got a pretty good problem on their hands in the compact SUV market. There's the Soul, again, which is just below the Seltos. It's boxy, but it's not all-wheel drive, but it's quirky and it's fun and it's just a cool vehicle. Then above the Seltos, you have the Sportage, which does very well. It's got a bit of a weird body shape up front. It's a little too rounded for me, but it does well. And their top trim SX has a ton of power and a ton of cool features and comes in all-wheel drive. So Kia's like, well, you can't really put all-wheel drive in the Soul yet, but they just don't want to for whatever reason. And the price gap was too big between the Soul and the Seltos. Sorry, Soul and the Sportage. What's with the S names, Kia? Seriously. Anyway, so the Seltos is here to bridge that gap in between. That's going to wrap up the review on the 2021 Kia Seltos. If you've got any questions on the vehicle, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Be well, be healthy, be wealthy, be safe. And I say be wealthy because I accidentally said that in my last review, so we may as well keep it. Be healthy, be wealthy, be well, be safe, and I'll be back sooner than later with my next review.